How's everybody doing? Good morning, everybody on the West Coast. I know it's 10 o'clock here. Good afternoon, everyone on the East Coast. Man, oh man, did you see last night's game? First of all, my Wi Fi was down, so pretty much didn't get to do the live stream and prediction for Thursday's game. Thank goodness, because I had the Steelers winning this one easily. Isn't that the beauty of football? Thursday night game was a nail biter. They were driving down the field, moving the ball. There was a lot of rushing yards. There was a lot of touchdown passes thrown. It was every week I felt like I'm saying, "Oh, that was one of the best games of the season." I mean, this was crazy. And the Bengals upset the 4-1 Steelers. I mean, it's that's just crazy. That's crazy. So, let's get right to it. Let's get to the stats. We got hold on. Here we go with the dog again. Of course. Gotta love the live streams, y'all. These little neighbors, little poodles come over here and bark at my dog's door every day, and they get them going, And I just tell my dog to ignore them. It's okay, Blue. All right, so back to the stats. Final score 31-33. 19 first downs for the Steelers, 27 for the Bengals, 249 passing yards for the Steelers, 348 for the Bengals, 147 rushing yards for the Steelers, 142. The Steelers did have two turnovers. Um, oh no, let me fix that record for you. Let me see. The records are wrong. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 4-2, and the Bengals are 3-4. Let me update that for y'all. A few moments later. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's see. Let's see. Um, how's everybody doing today? Let me know if y'all got any plans on Fridays in the comments. I'm probably not doing much. Just probably gonna get my oil change, things like that. Um, but back to the game. All right, let's see. There we go. Let's see. There we go. There we go. All right, so heck of a game. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Mike Tomlin was complaining about the Browns coach trading Flacco to a division rival, and that just shows how highly he regarded Flacco. Flacco always has the big arm. He's always very competitive, and now he has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to throw to. I mean, it was just an unbelievable game. Jamar Chase, his numbers were insane. Um, his numbers were insane. Let's see. First of all, Chase Brown had 108 yards rushing, but Jamar Chase had 161 yards receiving, one touchdown, 23 targets. T. Higgins, 96 yards and a touchdown. Noah Fant, 44 yards and a touchdown. Flacco spread the ball around to everybody in a total of 342 passing yards. I mean, this is vintage Joe Flacco. Even when he was with the Ravens, I think he had Anquan Bolden, but he didn't have like a crazy receiving core that he has now. Just it's unfortunate he's at the later stage of his career. Just imagine if he had these guys when he was younger. But that's why you have Joe Burrow. And I said several times before that I don't think he's going to win enough games to put the Bengals in the playoffs. He just got on there. He got thrown away out of Cleveland. He's hit or miss. He can tear up the field like he did last night, and then the next week throw 4 interceptions. So it's hard to predict it. But if he plays like this, he can get them enough wins for Burrow to come in. Who knows what could happen? I mean, predictions don't mean anything at this point. I mean, no one saw this coming. I mean, except for probably Tomlin. That's why he complained about it. But it was a crazy game, crazy game. I mean, even Aaron Rodgers did his thing. He had some good passing yards, 4 touchdown passes, um, but he did have 2 interceptions. So definitely something to look at. I mean, that's Rodgers. He could still move. He could still sling it. You know, it's it's it, this was a great game, and Pittsburgh's defense is not what we expect them to be. That's number one. So yes, they could still be a formidable AFC opponent, but we really need their defense to step up if they want to make a deep playoff run. Otherwise, they're going to be standard Mike Tomlin first round exit teams. So um, definitely keep an eye on that. If he tweaks the defense better, maybe get someone during the trade deadline. I don't know, but they have a lot of people. I saw on the NFL postgame show that I think they spent almost 200 million on defense, and they were just getting shredded yesterday. So they got to definitely do some soul searching on the defensive side. I think their offense is cool. They're getting it done. They're moving the ball on the ground and in the air. Rodgers and Metcalf is a good combination. Um, we don't need Aaron Rodgers to be prime Aaron Rodgers, but even at 80, 90%, he can get the job done. So he moved the ball pretty well beside those 2 interceptions. So the Steelers need to work on their defense. And isn't that funny, right? A lot of these teams, you're like, oh, they got the great defense, but they need to get their offense going. Or, oh, their offense going. But, it's always like a back and forth between how you can get your team well balanced. So it'll be interesting to see how they move forward this year. But this game was a wake up call for the Steelers defense more so than the Bengals having hope, because yes, if Flacco plays the way he does, he can get him some wins for Burrow to come back. But who knows when Burrow's going to come back? And if Flacco's the starter for the rest of the season, I don't see them making a deep run in the playoffs or even making it to the playoffs. Unfortunately, this is a great game. Don't want to rain on his parade, but there's a reason why he's bouncing around. He comes in hot and then he flops the next week or whatever week it'll be when you need him to really do it. It's just something that's been happening later in his career. Whereas when he was with the Ravens and he made it deep in the playoffs, he was just dropping bombs, just clutch. They called him Joe Cool, but now he's just kind of all over the place. But he still, at one point in time, was a top QB, and he proved that last night. So if he can keep it going, we'll see. This is, I mean, so many storylines with these teams. It's just, that's why you gotta love football. So, all right. So enough of that. That was a great game. Let's go to our previews. My Wi-Fi was down for about a day and a half, so I wasn't able to stream much. And I thought about streaming outside, which you could do with your iPhone and everything now. These iPhone cameras are crazy, but I was like, you know what? I'll rather just do it here for now. But I'll probably do more shorts, and just quick previews. When I'm on the go. Look forward to that. In the future. So, but anyway, let's go to the matchup scene. All right, we got the Saints and the Bears. We got points per game, 28th. Points per game for the Bears, 10th. And all this is from NFL.com, by the way. I get my info from StatHead, from NFL.com, and from ESPN.com. I mainly get it from StatHead, but I want to try this layout. I like the matchup cards on NFL.com, and I don't own it, but it's just numbers, and I would love to give my commentary for it. So, the yards per game, 14th for the Bears, 24th for the Saints. I mean, not much to see here. I think, especially coming off the victory last week against the Commanders, against my Commanders, I feel like the Bears should should roll through this. Um, their defense is very stingy. First in the league in turnover differential. Second in the league in interceptions. Total sacks, not that great, 27th. Um, Time of possession, they're about the same, but it won't really matter because I just feel like the Bears defense can kind of squeeze the young quarterback Rattler, and Caleb will still find his stride against um, a defense that in the Saints that isn't that great. So I'm gonna have to give this one to the Bears, and you know, Caleb. I expect him to have another big day, at least 2 or 3 touchdowns through the air, and he's finding his stride. It's great because he was getting a lot of flack when he first came out. His attitude, people were kind of waiting for him to bust. Pause. And he's really coming in stride. So congrats to him, and hopefully the Bears can get some more traction. Um, all right. So who do we have next? Colts versus the Chargers. These are two wonderful teams, but the Chargers have been inconsistent. We don't know which one's going to show up, but at the end of the day, I think Herbert will have a good game, but the Daniel Jones and his running back combination are just too good. They I know that the Chargers are supposedly have a great defense, but we don't know who's gonna show up. Um, I think the Colts will have it because they're 5-1. They're solid at home. I'm sorry, the Chargers are good at home, but the Colts, they just when you got Daniel Jones and the running back doing what he does, it's just a crazy combination, and I think it's gonna put Justin Herbert in another tight game, right? But it's gonna put him in another tight game. And sorry, the running back's Jonathan Taylor, by the way. And as I always say, when it comes down to the knit and grit, to the nail biting, I don't think Herbert is gonna excel. He only does well when everything is perfect. He'll throw 3 touchdowns. His running backs do good. His defense does good. Then he shines. But if he has to really win the game with the game on the line, or if there's any type of pressure, I don't think he's gonna win. So I look for Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor to pretty much shred the Colts. Um, but I'm sure the Colts will score too. Uh, it'll probably be like a 1 or 2 touchdown game, but I'm giving this one to the Colts. All right. Oh boy, the battle of the bottom teams. um, no disrespect to those guys, but Tua, he has made a lot of headlines this week by telling on certain players, not really telling, but calling out as he thought he was doing certain players for not showing up to players only meetings, questioning his team. It's just a soap opera over there. Like I said, I don't think McDaniels is going to last for the rest of the season. It's just a mess down there. Look at their numbers: 26 in the league in yards per game, 18th in points per game, 31st, time of possession. Um, Total defensive sacks still in the bottom half. Total defensive interception 28th. I mean, they're just a bad overall team, but so are the Browns. 32nd in points per game with Dylan Gabriel at the helm. 27th in yards per game. 14th in sacks. They got Myles Garrett and those guys applying pressure. Not that many picks, but their defense is pretty much their saving grace, and it hasn't been enough for them. It has not been enough for them. Um, it just, I just feel like, who should I give this to? Who should I give this to? Um, they're both 1-5. I guess I'll give it to Miami. I just don't see Cleveland beating them, but that's not saying much. And again, with everything happening these days, anything could happen. But I'm gonna give it to Miami. Um, All right, and we got the Eagles and the Vikings. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. Um, Number one, it looks like the Vikings are leaning more towards Carson Wentz, um, and rightfully so. He's a veteran. He's more experienced. To have the success they had with Sam Darnold last year shows that they were a well-rounded team. They just needed a quarterback, and to just give it to McCarthy, who's a young rookie or second year, I don't think that was a good idea. So I knew from the beginning, and I've said it in my previous streams, Wentz is the better guy for the job, and they're going to end up giving it to him in the long run. So I think they're leaning more towards him. Um, and this is the perfect time to see him shine against the Eagles, who are hungry for some type of clarity. I don't think the here's the issue with the Eagles. First of all, they're 4-2, which is not bad, but their saving grace has also been their defense, their front four, the trenches. That's what's been able to help them dominate games. And right now, it doesn't seem like they're in sync, and you have to rely on Jalen Hurts. When you have to rely on Jalen Hurts, he's a solid QB. But if the other parts of the team aren't doing their part, he's not going to will you to win. He's not going to be like a Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson that can make up for the team's deficiencies. Everything around him has to be well rounded for him to shine. And that's going to be the issue. We'll see how it matches up against the Vikings. Um, Obviously, there's the A.J. Brown drama over there. I wouldn't call it drama, but, he's unhappy he's not getting the ball. Um, I mean, the yards per game is 30th in the league. Points per game is 27th. Um, but look at their time of possession, 20th. Just their just offense is just very, very average. But the thing is, they've had a well-rounded defense. They've had some playmakers on offense who can make the plays when needed because they've never been an offensive juggernaut. It's just always that everybody stepped up when they had to because they were relying on the front four of the defense. But now they just got to sort it out. So this is a great game. This will be a close game because both teams are really trying to solidify their stance in the NFC, and both have high potential. So we'll see what happens. Even though Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz, he's hit or miss. He hasn't been in his MVP form, but maybe this might be his retribution year. We'll see. We'll see. But definitely one of the closer games to watch. Um, all right. The Falcons versus the 49ers. This is going to be a great game. Michael Penix is finding his stride. Mac Jones, he is still the starter, I believe. Let's see. You got Salah on defense, and they're pretty evenly matched. 27th in points per game, 24th in points per game, yards per game, second for the Falcons, sixth for the um for the 49ers. Their defense is pretty similar. Well, Falcons are kind of 14th, but this is going to be another close game where two people are trying to prove themselves. The 49ers are trying to make sure they can still make some progress and stay healthy even with everybody out. Um, but the Falcons had such a wonderful game last week. They're riding high. They're riding high off of the momentum. They killed it through the ground. Penix did what he had to do. Um, this will be a great game to see Mac Jones versus Michael Penix and two decent defenses going against each other. This is also, as long with the Eagles and the Vikings, one of the most evenly matched games. And who am I going to give it to? I'm going to give it to the Falcons. I mean, they're just riding too high off the momentum last week. Um, this will be their fourth win, and they'll just move up in the ranks. But you can't count out the 49ers. You really can't. They've been surprising this year. They're 4-2 still, so we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna give this one to the Falcons. Okay, Green Bay versus Arizona. You got Brisket at the helm, so they have a chance. They can get instant success. And the Packers still haven't really lived up to the early season heights. Hype, I mean. Uh, I even on the road, I still feel like they'll win. Um, but this could be a close game. I mean, um, their defense is not that far apart as far as sacks are concerned. Um, it's just this should be an easy call, right? This should be a really easy call. I feel like Green Bay should annihilate them, but they just haven't had the dominant performances that we have expected them to see. So if Brisket gets something going, and it could go either way, but I will give this to the Packers just because they have so much potential. I still consider them an NFC powerhouse, but they just haven't really convinced us 100% yet. So but I will give this one to the Packers. All right, the Giants versus the Broncos. Oh boy, um, I know I got a lot of flack for saying I don't believe in the Giants yet because they're too young, you know, and all that. But guess what? You got Scatterbo, you got Dart. These guys are dynamic players, right? But you got the Broncos who are really finding their stride. They are turning into an AFC contender. You got Sean Payton, you got Bo Nix. Um, their points per game is 20th. Not that great, but don't let that fool you. Bo Nix can make the throws, and he can even run it on the ground if he needs to. Um, yards per game, 15th again. Uh, but their defense, can these young rookies handle Denver's defense? They are first in the league in sacks, 30 sacks. First in the league. This is incredible. So I know they're going to put a lot of pressure on Dart, but Dart is very, very mobile, and he has a big arm, and he has Scatterbo in the backfield to take some pressure off of him. So this will be an interesting game, but I'll give the Dolphins. They'll win by a couple I'm sorry, the Broncos. They'll win by a couple touchdowns. I think that they can pull this one out, but I still expect to see Dart and Scatterbo make some highlight worthy plays. They're very fun bunch to watch. But the Broncos are just too well rounded, and Bo Nix is finding his stride. This is a very good combination of him and Sean Payton. And I was kind of last year I didn't like how Sean Payton was treating Russell Wilson. I felt like he was being too hard on him. But now that he found his quarterback, you can see how they're developing and growing together and making a statement. They've had some great games this year, and they have a good record, and they got a shot to really go far in their division. Crowded division, but they'll figure it out. They're definitely becoming one of the teams to beat. So I'm gonna give this one to the Broncos. All right. So the Panthers versus the Jets. The Jets are just terrible. I mean, they're just terrible. The Panthers are bad, but they've shown some flashes. I don't see the Jets. It could be a desperation thing where the Jets want to get their first win because they're 0-6 and Carolina's 3-3. Mind you, Carolina's undefeated at home, which is tied for first in the league. But um, I know they're going to be in New York. I know. I know that New York hasn't had a win yet, so they could come in there desperate. I just don't see it happening. Um, I feel like I give it to the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young is okay for the year. 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Uh, Justin Fields is just playing terrible. I mean, just horrendous. So I feel like I just feel like the Panthers are going to win this one. I'm not going to call the Panthers the bottom feeder teams like I've been the past few weeks because they're kind of showing some life. And just for that reason only, I feel like they'll go to 4-3 and they'll beat the Jets. The Jets will be 0-7. I mean, the Jets are just a train wreck already happening. I was gonna say waiting to happen, but they're already happening. So, I mean, we'll see. Again, it's any given Sunday, but I'm just gonna have to give this one to the Jets. I mean, to the Panthers. All right, the Patriots versus the Titans. Mike Vrabel, if you guys remember, was fired from the Titans, and now the Titans fired Brian Callahan. Um, so the Patriots, they are also becoming the team to beat. Um, Drake May is doing his thing. Uh, they are. I mean, I'm very very impressed with them. Um, I just obviously Tennessee. All right, first and foremost, Tennessee's 1-5. They're not going to win this game. So I just want to take this opportunity to show, give flowers to the Patriots for really turning their team around with Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels as the offensive coordinator, and Drake May playing the way he's been playing. They're consistent. Um, they can make some plays, and Drake May has a cannon of an arm, and he can make the plays he needs to make. With Stephon Diggs there as well, they, I mean, honestly, the AFC might be the most entertaining conference. I mean, they just have so many up and coming teams that could really make some noise later on in the season and even in the postseason. So it'll be interesting to see if they can carry this momentum. I feel like it'll be an easy win versus the Titans. They're just a train wreck. Cam Ward is playing bad. Coaching is bad. Everything's bad. Defense is bad. Their offense is 31st in the league in points per game. Yards per game, 32nd, dead last. I just feel like this will be an easy win for the Patriots, but it's just awesome to see how they turn everything around as early as from last year. In the year before last year, I mean, it's just been terrible. So ever since Brady left, so now it's finally good to see them back in the mix with the AFC. I know a lot of people hated on the past back in the day. I was one of them, but that's the past. You always want to see the teams pick themselves up and rebuild. Just like I would like to see the Jets or the Titans, get it together. But for now, this will be the Patriots game. They'll go to 5-2, and they'll continue to build the momentum to go to the playoffs. And I do see the Pats as a playoff team, so we'll see about that. Another easy win here. Let me get some coffee. And by the way, I was put onto this Lion coffee, like it's this Hawaiian type of coffee. The chocolate macadamia and the hazelnuts are the best. So if y'all want some new coffee ideas, go get some Lion coffee. They sell on Amazon or some of these like local supermarkets, and yeah, I would get them. It's really good. Anyway, back to our program. The Chiefs versus the Raiders. I mean, I don't like repeating myself, but I will for the YouTube algorithm. The Geno Smith Pete Carroll saga is over. Maybe they might last to the end of the year, but someone's either going to get benched or fired. This ain't working. This ain't working at all. So I know they won last week. It was against the Titans. Woo, they beat the Titans. They still played horribly. Um, and I don't want to talk bad about Geno because he was a nice comeback story when he put up all those good numbers in Seattle. But right now, it's just bad. It's just all bad. And Carroll, he's not making decisions he needs to make. Excellent coach, just bad situation and bad, bad record. And what do you think's gonna give? Is he that good of a coach that he could make this team at least get 6, 7 wins this year? I don't know. I don't know. He might lose. He might have lost his fire or his swag or his momentum that he had when he was in Seattle. I don't know. Maybe they might give him another year to rebuild the roster, but in my opinion, and I'm not trying to hate on Geno because again I liked him when he was a comeback story in Seattle after Russell left. The fact that Carroll came to the team and wanted to build around Geno, to me that was a bad decision. He should have tried to get a quarterback or tried to trade for some type of security blanket, maybe trade for Cousins or something just in case if Geno doesn't do well. Because surprise, nobody's doing well with the Raiders right now. So it's going to be a tough call. Again, either someone's going to get benched or fired by the end of the year. And then you have the Chiefs. In my opinion, they're the best in the league. They are back. Patrick Mahomes is playing lights out. They are going to get Rashee Rice back. They already have Worthy back. Kareem Hunt starting to make some noise. Of course, Patrick Mahomes is running on the ground and beating him through the arm. Um, I mean, I'm gonna have to give this one easy win to the Chiefs, but to even go further, Patrick Mahomes. So I have a lot of quarterbacks in the MVP conversation. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP right now, in my opinion. I know they want to give it to Mayfield. I know they want to talk about a few other quarterbacks. I would like to give it to Jaden Daniels, even though they lost and he made that mistake. You just see how valuable he is to his team. But the Chiefs are back, and Patrick Mahomes is back, and I expect him to light it up now that he has Rashee Rice back and the rest of his weapons. Travis Kelce's doing good. Worthy's doing good. Hunt's doing good. And, Mahomes is at 11 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions for the year. Meanwhile, you got Geno Smith, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions for the year, still leading the league. So, I mean, I didn't even have to bring Smith into this, but Mahomes is the real deal. He's the MVP, and Chiefs are right now, especially when they get Rice back, the best in the league. Spagnuolo did what he does, and I've said this ever since I started streaming. You get a efficient defense, right? A top defense, and they're gonna be higher than what they are. You get a top defense, although their pass rush is concerning. You get them. You get Spagnuolo, who's gonna create, different packages. You got Patrick Mahomes at the helm, and you got Andy Reid. That's all you need to consistently be in the mix. Best coach, in my opinion, the best defensive coordinator, probably him and Salah, and then the best quarterback in the world. Patrick Mahomes is the MJ of quarterbacks. Yes, you can give it to Allen. Josh Allen is official. He's the truth. But I still give the slight edge to Patrick Mahomes. So you get those three. As long as you have those three, Spagnuolo, Reed, and Mahomes, you're going to constantly be in the mix. And now they got all the pieces of the puzzle coming together. Best team in the league, hands down. Mahomes for MVP. They're going to probably go to the Super Bowl again this year, especially with their top two teams that I thought was going to be their competition, the Ravens and the Bills. The Ravens completely dismantled, and the Bills' defense is horrendous. So I got the Chiefs going all the way here, this year. So we'll get back to that throughout the week, but yeah, it's going to be an easy one. All right. So we got Tampa Bay versus Detroit. Here's another quarterback in the MVP conversation. I'm surprised they don't throw Goff in that mix, but excuse me. I'm surprised they don't throw Goff in the mix. He's been playing well too. Second in points per game, 11th in yards per game, all because of him and his running backs. But um, Mayfield he is having probably one of his best seasons since he's been in the league. And I mean, 12 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1,500 yards. But Jared Goff, 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Both of these quarterbacks are playing at an MVP level. But Mayfield is doing it with a lot less. He doesn't have his top receiver. He doesn't have his running backs. He's just literally willing the team, and it's just incredible. It's incredible to see. They're 5-1. They're 5-1. And you know how it is with. So here's the thing. If it's a close game, I'm choosing Mayfield over Goff. Goff folds when the pressure's high, which is why he got traded from the Rams. But I don't want to throw shade at the man. This is going to be a high pressure game. This is going to be a close game, and I'm giving it to Mayfield. So I'm going to pick the Bucs to win, just off of Mayfield's heroics. Even though the Lions are a well-rounded team, but I just feel like, I mean, it could go either way. But if it comes down to game on the line, I got to give it to Mayfield. So unless the Lions completely blow them out of the water, if you let the Bucs hang around, I feel like Mayfield's going to win it. And both quarterbacks do need to be in the MVP conversation. So that'll be another great game to watch. but I'm gonna have to give a slight edge to the Bucks. Okay, Texans and the Seahawks. Um, the Texans are finding their stride. Um, let me see. But the Seahawks are once again, and when I say once again, they are rated as one of the better teams in the NFL, um, with Sam Darnold at the helm. And I always said this. I don't want to put them at the top of the league yet, even though the stats show that they are one of the top teams in the league. But like I say, Sam Darnold needs to win when it matters. Same thing happened with the Vikings, 14-1, only to lose the last game of the year and then get blown out in the playoffs behind Sam Darnold, making I think he threw like 4 interceptions. So, but for this game in particular, I'm gonna have to give the easy win to the Seahawks. But I wouldn't. I mean, their defense is stingy. Their offense is good, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't. You know, we got to see. I'm not a full believer in the Seahawks yet. We just got to see them continue to do this. But for this game, you know, it should be an easy win unless C.J. Stroud has a monster game, which he needs to. He needs to because, um, you know, they're just kind of going back and forth. But they did come off of a bye, so you need to watch how he plays, and you need to see if they can get some turnovers. If not, I mean, the Seahawks should just breeze through them easily. But again, it's not this game that matters. It's or the record that matters for the Seahawks. Can they win down the stretch when it really matters? With Sam Darnold at the helm. That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. Oh, and guess what? This should have been the first game I covered, but Commanders versus Cowboys. Let me tell you a little story about me. I was born in the DMV, Alexandria, Virginia. Born and raised, split time between there and Leesburg. Our family were Redskins fans growing up. But when I went to middle school in the 90s, Dallas was America's team, and I became a Dallas fan. Just a little bandwagon kid. And I was too stubborn to admit it. And I ended up sticking with the Cowboys until like I was about 28 or something, you know. Just and then it hit me. Moving to LA, I'm like, man, I'm really a DMV guy. Why am I cheering for the Cowboys? Why? But for those that know, the Cowboys were the most popular team in the 90s. America's team. So everybody liked the Cowboys. Between them or the Steelers, maybe, everybody loved the Cowboys. So I just stuck with it because I was being stubborn. But at the end of the day, I came back home, so to speak, because I said, why am I cheering for a city I've never even been in when I was born and raised, lived my whole life in the DMV before moving to LA? So, um, just a little funny story. So yeah, home is where the heart is, and and don't say I joined them whenever Daniels came. I was with them when they were trash. I hopped on like back in like 14, 15, or 2013, when they were really bad. So it's been a long time coming. It's been a good solid 10 years since I came back home to see us get a wonderful quarterback who I think needs to be in the MVP conversation. Yes, because I'm biased, but also because without him, the team will be terrible. Because guess what? We had Dan Quinn before Jaden Daniels came. They had coaching staff. Well, no, I think they had Riviera, but they just, he just the vibe, the energy. He's a winner, and despite he made that costly mistake, that last point of the game, he was dropping dimes, man. He can run, he can throw, and he puts the team on his back. We are only going to go as far as him. So, although I think Pat is the best right now, Jaden Daniels needs to get thrown in that mix. He is just a top tier quarterback, and we are so fortunate to have him. So, oh, and another one, Dak Prescott is also playing at MVP level too. So, I mean, there's some fine quarterback play this year. To be honest. Um, so I mean, I mean, 1,600 yards. I think that's number one in the league. 13 touchdowns, only three interceptions for Prescott. And Daniels missed some time, but he's still seven touchdowns, only one interception for the year. And he only missed two games. So the numbers don't tell the whole story for him. He only has 875 yards, but he is an elite quarterback. Jaden Daniels is, and Prescott is playing at an MVP level. You got to give it to him. You got to give it to him. So it's going to be a very crowded QB MVP race, in my opinion. But obviously, it'll start mattering more as the season progresses. But I mean, think about who's playing at a high level. Daniels, of course. Mahomes, Prescott, Mayfield, Goff, Sam Darnold. They better not give the MVP to Sam Darnold. I'm sorry. Um, just so many people playing at a high level. Daniel Jones. It's just it's amazing this year. I mean, the quarterbacks are definitely Josh Allen, of course, still doing their thing. So I think that's like eight I just named. So I mean, it's gonna be a very crowded MVP room, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, and we got the Rams versus the Jaguars. Um, this actually might be a close game because we don't know which Jaguars is going to show up. To be honest, um, they have a lot of potential. This is a London game, by the way. They have a lot of potential. They did beat the Chiefs, and also, you know, Trevor Lawrence is a decent quarterback. He is getting hit a lot, and I expect Sean McVay to capitalize on that, um, because because I mean, not to say that Lawrence can't perform well under pressure, but they're gonna hit him. They're gonna hit him. So with this, I might give the slight edge to the Rams, but you can't sleep on the Jaguars' defense. Also, I mean, their turnover differential is first in the league. Their interceptions is first in the league with 10. Um, Sacks not that great, but guess what? It doesn't matter because they're making the plays they need to make. So this is actually a well balanced matchup. But I'm gonna have to give the slight edge to the Rams just because you got Matthew Stafford, who is a top tier quarterback, always consistent workhorse. You got Sean McVay. Um, I just think they're a better overall team than the Jaguars. But their top receiver, Puka Nua. Let me read his name before I pronounce it wrong. I don't want to disrespect the man. Um, Puka Nakua, he is out, and he was their go-to. So, and obviously they don't have Cooper Cup anymore. Um, it'll be interesting to see how Stafford can make up for it, especially with the way the Jaguars are able to get interceptions. And it'll be interesting to see. But I still give the slight edge to the Rams, just because they're just a more well-rounded, more experienced team. But the Jaguars are definitely on the roll. I can't wait to see how they do. Later on in the season because they have a lot of potential. Honestly, this is probably one of the better NFL seasons that I've seen because there's never like a clear cut. I mean, you do have your clear cut favorites, but now everybody else is really making a point to get in the mix. And it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see because the Jaguars they could make some noise with that defense. And Trevor Lawrence is still a top overall QB pick, big arm. He can stand tall in the pocket. He just has to make better decisions. He can run it. So if all the pieces come together, what do you need? Solid defense, a decent quarterback, and a good head coach. So the Jaguars kind of, I mean, again with the Chiefs, not to keep talking about the Chiefs, they got the best quarterback, the best coach, and the best defensive coordinator. So, but the Jaguars are. It looks like they're kind of having that formula as well. Especially they're relying a lot on their defense. I hope Travis Hunter gets more snaps at defense. I don't like him as a receiver. He is an elite corner. Just physically, the height, the length, the ball hawking skills. So this will be a very interesting game to watch. But I'll give the slight edge to the Rams. I mean, it could go either way, but that's my pick. So so there you have it. There is my picks for the week. It's gonna be a crazy Sunday. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope y'all have a good weekend. Happy Friday to everybody. And yeah, I will see you guys probably. I'll see you guys probably Sunday night. All right, talk to y'all later. Have a good weekend.